So, you want to know how to build Sibylle? Well, I'm here to help you with that. Today, boys, we got a full Sibylle guide here for you. Today, we're going to be talking about what weapon, what demon wedges, and how to build your Sibylle. If this video does help you out at all, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like, maybe a subscription. And boys, let's get into the video. I also just want to leave a little disclaimer at the start. I'm still very early on into the game. I'm only trial rank 45, so when I talk about stuff like late game demon wedges, a lot of it is going to be my personal predictions instead of legitimate facts or knowledge. So just when I talk about that section, I just want to clarify that. But other than that, video is going to be completely normal. And yeah, let's get into it. So first off, I want to make sure we all have a fairly good understanding of Sibylle's kit. This is going to be very important to understanding how to build her, is getting an idea of what her skills do. We're going to go over each one of these. A few of them link into each other, and I want to make sure we all understand them. First thing I want to address is her passive talent. This is going to be important because her passive leads into her summon and damage. Her passive is referred to as Might of Thunder. Anytime that the damage we deal triggers bonus effects, we're going to gain points called Might of Thunder. You can see these points at the bottom of your combat screen. You can get up to 300 of these points, and they buff both your summon and your E damage as well. By consuming these points, you make them more powerful. You can get these points by simply doing basic attacks and charge attacks with the weapon of your choice. Both her E and her summon both have an actual cost of Might of Thunder on top of the sanity cost as well. If you don't know what sanity cost is, it's that little yellow bar there at the bottom, and you can see how much her abilities cost. So her Q summon is 50, her E damage is 30, and that's going to take away from your sanity. But on top of that, it's also going to cost Might of Thunder points to use your abilities as well. So Divine Conqueror, your E is 20, and then the summon is 100. So just keep that in mind when using her ability. Now, getting into it. First thing we're going to talk about is her Divine Conqueror, where she steps her heel and does all that lightning damage. First off, you're going to step on the heel, and then after a 1.5 second delay, you're going to consume the Might of Thunder that you have, and every 0.4 seconds, you're going to strike a random enemy with the thunder. These clouds last for 10 seconds, and you can have up to a maximum of 3 of them. You can kind of see the thunder cloud raining up top when you spawn it, and once you spawn it, you're going to notice that your Might of Thunder points start decreasing. When your Might of Thunder points run out, that's when the cloud's going to despawn. So keep that in mind when using her E. It's also important to note that both this and her summon are both HP scaling, and we're going to get into that more when we talk about her build. But for right now, let's move on to her summon. So for her summon, you're going to summon something called a Chaotic Thunder Orb. Only one of these can exist at a time, so don't bother using this ability twice. And also make sure you have a minimum of 100 Might of Thunder before spawning this. This summon Chaotic Thunder Orb is going to take a percentage of Sibylle's max HP and be treated as an enemy unit. And every 3 seconds, it's going to link to the 5 furthest enemies, linking to 1 additional enemy per second, up to 10 total, and just deal linked electric damage to all of them. This is really good for AFK strategies, as you can just place down the Thunder Orb. Unfortunately, it doesn't last forever, and you might have to respawn it, so it doesn't work for all AFK builds, but it's still a very solid ability, which you can place down, leave there, and then start using your E's and your attacks all over again. So that's a very basic summary of her kit. I hope that helped you get kind of a better idea. I highly recommend leveling up all of these. There's nothing that can really be unleveled here. And then moving on in her tree, it's actually really important that you get one of these abilities down here. Now, HP, skill damage is of course important, but there's one really big one here in her passive called Master of Storm Clouds. And this is going to be important for her build too, where it states damage dealt by Divine Conqueror and Legion's punishment has a chance to trigger bonus effect based on Sibylle's melee weapon trigger probability. And now, let's get into her weapons. If you don't know what weapons to use at Sibylle, it's pretty obvious. You want to use whip swords. There are a grand total of 3 whip swords in the game. There is this one right here, which has a bonus effect that gives her more max HP. And when this weapon triggers a bonus, she gets even more max HP. Great weapon for her because, again, she scales on max HP. So this is very beneficial for her. The other really good one is the one that increases your trigger probability because, as we stated before, in her skills, her Divine Conqueror and Legion's punishments, her E, has a chance to trigger bonus effects based on her melee weapon trigger probability. So the higher this is, the more damage you can do. So you're going to want to make sure this trigger probability is pretty high. And the 75% that this grants basically means that you're going to have a really good amount of trigger probability. The last option for her is also an okay one, but I would say this is my least favorite of the three. This is the Tether Lash, which increases her skill duration by 18%. This basically will affect how long Stormcaller, your summon orbed, and also your Legion's Punishment's Cloud stay on the field for. So definitely not a bad option either. I personally leaned for getting the one that would increase my HP percentage, because I kind of just want to do more raw damage with her, and it definitely has been doing that. But I also don't think getting one with trigger probability so that you can get this bonus effect damage is by all a bad option. So that would be my recommendation for her weapon. Moving on to her ranged weapons, she has 3 really solid options. You're going to want pistols for her. There's one which I don't recommend, which is the Ren Husk, which is a character attack percentage one. Obviously, she's not scaling with attack percent. We don't want that. And then there's one with trigger probability, which again is very beneficial for Sibylle. And then the last one has multi-shot. And then also when you trigger a bonus effect, you get more melee weapon damage. Now, this one's my personal favorite because it means that you don't have to be on field using this gun constantly, and you kind of switch out and then go back to your melee attack. So for my guns, I would either go with the Sacrosanct Decree or the Entropic Singularity would be my 2 options, which I would choose from. Next up, we're going to get into her demon wedges. I think this is pretty interesting because there are a lot of decent demon wedges for her. I'm going to talk about some of the early game ones I've been using. So I really like the ones that increase electro attack, skill damage, skill range. These are all really, really good. Another good one is just one that increases HP, attack, and defense by 75%. These are all very solid. There are also some really good ones that give max sanity, which you can get from grinding these at the level 50 level. Getting max sanity wedges for Sibylle is really important because her cost of her skills is very high comparatively to other characters. Her sanity cost is 30 and 50. That is very high. If you look at some other characters, like for example, Margie has a sanity cost of 10 and 50. Lisbelle has a sanity cost of 15 and 10. So her sanity cost is really high. So getting ones that increase your sanity are very beneficial. Anything that increases your HP, again, very good. For your weapons, you can get ones that increase crit chance and crit damage. These are really good as well. Of course, another really good one, which you can grind by actually doing the level 40 levels of demon wedges, is the one that increases trigger probability. These are great. Getting trigger probability, amazing for her. So those are really important to grind. I would just do the same thing for ranged weapons, crit rate, damage, trigger probability, and anything with HP percentage are really, really good. Even starting off pretty early, I just hit 45 and I'm already able to grind demon wedges through my secret letter clues. So if you want to, you can do this. There are some decent ones here. Like, for example, this one, which I'm already able to do called Ravaging Thunder, gives me more skill damage. And when an electro character uses skill, they gain skill damage increase. So this one could be really good. At trial rank 60, you get even better ones, which increase, again, electro damage, skill damage, and range. There's also ones that increase skill duration, which is amazing for her as well. Skill duration is really good for her. Make sure that you're only buying the ones that say suitable for characters electro. There are some ones here that you might get tricked by, like this one, for example. It'll say suitable for characters animo. Make sure you're never buying those ones for specific characters. Just keep that in mind. Also, if you come to the bustling marketplace and you go to the Spindle of Fate, which is the rewards that you get from doing the Mystic Maze and these events, you can buy even more demon wedges here. And there's some early game wedges that are like green and blue that give you like crit damage, crit rate, trigger probability. Again, all the stuff that we talked about previously. So coming over here and getting these may not be a bad option either. Those would be my general recommendations for any demon wedges that you get on her guns, weapons, or character as well. Then for her Geniemon, her best one right now is the Battle Pass one. I actually ended up buying this one. This one's super good. It restores 15 sanity to self and allies and increases their skill damage for 12 seconds. That's really good because, like I said, she needs the sanity. So if you want to buy the Battle Pass, you can get this one. There is also 2 more that I like as well. One called the Cat Tiz, which increases and restores your teammate's sanity by 9. And it also increases the electro attack for your main character, which I thought was really good, especially for Sibylle. Obviously, also, if you want to make her even more powerful, you can go for her Introns as well. If you just want to completely grind out Sibylle and make her overpowered, these are completely free to grind. And if you just care and love this character completely, grinding these is probably the best thing you can do to make her better. All you got to do, go buy her secret letter clues. You can buy as many as you want and you grind these out. Hey, bro, you could get a lot of these for her. But I would prioritize making sure that you get her weapon and then also her ranged weapon first, though, before you start grinding these Introns for her. So those would be all my recommendations for Sibylle right now. Let me know if you guys have any more recommendations or thoughts down in the comments below. I'd love to absolutely hear them and make a more maybe advanced guide in the future. But as for right now, that's all for me, boys. And yeah, I'm going to see you all in the next one. Peace out.